Very good morning, students. Last class we have seen in detail about the mandibular first premolar. Today we will see about the mandibular second premolar in detail. Mandibular second premolars are larger than the mandibular first premolars, and it is located distal to the mandibular first premolar and mesial to the mandibular first molar. Second premolars are mainly seen in two forms, that is, it has a two cusp type and a three cusp type, which differ from each other mainly in the occlusion morphology. Except for the buccal aspect, the second premolar does not resemble the first premolar in morphology, and it has a function of tearing and grinding. Mandibular second premolar have two cusp form, that is two cusp type and a three cusp type. The left side picture shows the two cusp type, that is one cusp in the buccal aspect and the one cusp in the lingual aspect, whereas the right side picture shows you the three cusp type, that is one cusp in the buccal aspect and the two cusp in the lingual aspect. And the mandibular second premolar is a single rooted tooth. Now we'll see the number of lobes that is present in mandibular second premolar. They are mainly of two types, that is 4-lobe type and then 5-lobe type. 4-lobe type is mainly seen in 2-cusp pattern, whereas 5-lobe type is mainly seen in the 3-cusp pattern. In 5-lobe type, there are 3 buccal lobes that is present and 2 lingual lobes is seen. It is mainly seen in the 3-cusp type. Whereas in case of 4-lobe type, there are 3 buccal lobes and 1 lingual lobe. It is mainly seen in the 2-cusp pattern type. So generally in premolars, all the premolars are developed from 4 lobes except the 3-cusp pattern of the mandibular second premolar. So only the mandibular second premolar with 3-cusp pattern is developed from 5 lobes. Now we'll see the tooth numbering system of mandibular second premolar. According to the FDA numbering system, they are numbered as 3, 5 and 4, 5, whereas 3, 5 represents the permanent mandibular left second premolar, whereas 4, 5 represents the permanent mandibular right second premolar. According to the universal numbering system, it is numbered as tooth number 20 and tooth number 29. Tooth number 20 represents the left side mandibular second premolar, whereas the tooth number 29 represents the right side mandibular second premolar. Now we'll see about the chronology of mandibular second premolar. The first evidence of calcification starts at 2 to 2.5 years, whereas the enamel completion is at 6 to 7 years, whereas the eruption of mandibular second premolar is about 11 to 12 years, and the root completion is about 13 to 14 years. Now we'll see the dimensions of mandibular second premolar. The cervical occlusal length of the crown is 8 mm, which is denoted using an yellow color arrow. The length of the root is 14.5 mm, which is denoted using an orange color arrow. The mesiodistal diameter of the crown is 7 mm, which is denoted using a black color arrow. The mesiodistal diameter of the crown at the cervix is 5 mm, which is denoted using a blue color arrow. The buccolingual diameter of the crown is about 8 mm, which is denoted using a light green arrow. The buccolingual diameter of the crown at cervix is 7 mm, which is denoted using a green color, that is a dark green color arrow. The curvature of the cervical and mesially is about 1 mm. Now we'll see the surfaces of mandibular second premolar in detail. There are totally 5 surfaces, that is the buccal surface, lingual surface, mesial surface, distal surface and the occlusal surface. First we'll start off with the buccal aspect in detail. So first we'll start off with the buccal aspect. So the crown of the mandibular second premolar appears squarish or trapezoidal from the buccal aspect. This appearance is created due to the short and less sharp buccal cusp and wide cervical 1/3, which results from the less cervical convergence. Now we'll see the outlines of buccal aspect. So outline includes the mesial outline, a distal outline, occlusal outline, and the cervical line. So the green color arrow indicates the mesial outline, whereas the yellow color arrow indicates the distal outline. The black color arrow represents the occlusal outline. So the mesial outline is curved and the contact area is broader, which is located occlusal to the junctions of middle and occlusal one-third. Moving on to the distal outline. So the distal outline is also slightly curved and the contact area is located relatively in a cervical position than that of the mesial contact area. Moving on to the occlusal outline. So the occlusal outline represents the buccal cusp and the cusp slope. The buccal cusp is short, less pointed, and the tip is located slightly mesial to the center. So here you will see an mesial slope and the distal slope. The mesial slope is smaller comparing to the distal slope. The cusp ridge meets at an obtuse angle, making the cusp less sharper. The cervical line is curved towards the crown. Now we'll see the buccal surface anatomy. The buccal surface is convex in nature and it has an elevation area as well as the depression area. The elevation area includes the cervical ridge and the buccal ridge. So the buccal ridge is extending from the cervical region to the cusp tip, and I have made a blue color marking. So that indicates the buccal ridge, whereas the yellow color marking that is present just above the cervical line indicates the cervical ridge. You can see a developmental groove that is present mesial and the distal to the buccal ridge. I have made an arrow marking, so that indicates the depression area, that is the developmental groove present on the either side of the buccal ridge. The root is conical from the buccal aspect and it is wider and longer, ending in a blunt apex. A rare distal inclination is seen in the apical one-third. See the lingual aspect. From this aspect, second premolar exhibit considerable morphological variation from that of the mandibular first premolar. Difference can be observed between the cusp type itself because the mandibular first premolar will have a two cusp type, whereas in case of mandibular second premolar it has two cusp type as well as the three cusp type. The lingual aspect is narrower than the buccal aspect, but the degree of convergence is not as prominent as you see in the mandibular first premolar. In the three cusp type, the lingual side shows only a minimal convergence. The lingual cusp is well developed and is only slightly shorter than the buccal cusp, making only a part of an occlusal aspect of the buccal side is visible from this aspect. In the slide, you can see two pictures. Left side picture shows you the three cusp pattern, whereas the right side picture shows you the two cusp pattern. In two cusp pattern, only one lingual cusp is seen, the cusp ridge of which merges with the marginal ridge. In three cusp pattern, two lingual cusps are seen, which are separated by a groove that extends onto the lingual surface, and that groove is called as the lingual groove. And it has two cusps, that is a mesiolingual cusp and the distolingual cusp. Here the mesiolingual cusp is broader comparing to the distolingual cusp. The lingual surface is smooth and convex in nature. If you see the cervical line is slightly convex or even it will be straight in nature. Moving on to the root is conical in shape and it is smooth and convex and tapers apically with a blunted apex. Now we'll see the mesial aspect of mandibular second premolar. From mesial aspect, crown shows lingual inclination. Due to this lingual inclination, the crown is rhomboidal in shape. When you compare the mandibular second premolar with the mandibular first premolar, the lingual inclination is lesser in the mandibular second premolar. When you compare this with the crown on the root in a buccolingual aspect, it is wider comparing to the mandibular first premolar. Now we'll see the outlines of mesial aspect. The outlines which we will see from the mesial aspects are the buccal outline, lingual outline, occlusal outline and the cervical line. From the buccal outline, it is convex in nature. When we compare the buccal outline with that of the mandibular first premolar, the mandibular second premolar is a less convexity. Now we will see the crest of contour. The crest of contour from the buccal outline is located near the junctions of middle in the cervical 1/3. You can see an yellow color arrow. So that arrow represents the crest of convexity. So it is mainly seen in the cervical ridge area. Now we'll see the lingual outline. So the lingual outline is also convex, but it is less convex when we compare to the buccal aspect, and it extends beyond the root boundary in the region of crest of curvature, which is located in the middle of middle 1/3. So the green arrow indicates the crest of curvature. Now we'll see the occlusal outline. Occlusal outline represents the buccal cusp, lingual cusp and the mesial marginal ridge. A buccal cusp is less sharp and it is not nearer to the midline of the teeth. When we compare with that of the mandibular first premolar, in mandibular first premolar, the buccal cusp is nearer to the midline of the teeth. Moving on to the lingual cusp is well developed and large in both the two cusp pattern as well as in case of a three cusp pattern. So comparing to the buccal and the lingual cusp is shorter comparing to that of buccal cusp. It is approximately 1.5 mm shorter than the buccal cusp. You can see a blue line. So that blue line indicates the tip of the lingual or a mesiolingual cusp is almost in the line with the outline of the root. Because of well-developed lingual lobe, the occlusal surface does not show the lingual sloping. Next, we will see the mesial marginal ridge. Mesial marginal ridge is more occlusally placed and horizontal, making only the lesser portion of the occlusal surface visible from this aspect. The green arrow indicates the mesial marginal ridge, so it is horizontal in nature. When we compare the mesial marginal ridge with that of the mandibular first premolar, in mandibular first premolar, the mesial marginal ridge is sloping in nature, whereas in case of mandibular second premolar, it is horizontal to the tooth. Now we'll see the cervical line. The cervical line is curved towards the crown. See the mesial surface. The surface in the mesial aspect is smooth and it is convex in nature. When you compare the mesial surface with that of the mandibular first premolar, in mandibular first premolar you can able to see a mesiolingual developmental groove which is absent in case of the mandibular second premolar. Moving on to the root is conical in nature and it tapers apically to a blunted apex. Now we'll see the distal aspect. Morphologically, a distal aspect is similar to that of the mesial aspect. That is, the similarities includes the shape of the crown from the distal aspect, the outlines from the distal aspect, even the root from the distal aspect looks similar to that of the mesial aspect. Some differences are the distal marginal ridge is placed more cervically comparing to the mesial marginal ridge, whereas the mesial marginal ridge is placed more occlusally. So due to the presence of more cervically placed distal marginal ridge, we can able to see few of the occlusal surface from this aspect. The second thing is, if three cusp pattern is seen, the mesiolingual cusp as well as the distolingual cusp is seen from the distal aspect because the distolingual cusp is smaller comparing to the mesiolingual cusp. So I have made two arrows to show you the both cusp tip is visible from the distal aspect. The red color arrow indicates the mesiolingual cusp, whereas the green color arrow indicates the distolingual cusp. Suppose if two cusp pattern is present, you can able to see a distolingual developmental depression is present. So these are all the features regarding the distal aspect. Now we'll see the occlusal aspect of mandibular second premolar. According to the cusp, we can divide the occlusal aspect into a 2 cusp pattern and a 3 cusp pattern. In 2 cusp pattern, you will see a single cusp in the buccal aspect and a single cusp in the lingual aspect. Whereas in case of 3 cusp pattern, we will be seeing a single cusp in the buccal aspect and 2 cusp in the lingual aspect. According to the developmental grooves, we can divide the occlusal aspect into 3 patterns, that is an H pattern, a Y pattern and a U pattern. So the A picture represents the H pattern, whereas the B picture represents the Y pattern and the C picture represents the U pattern. In this H pattern as well as the U pattern will be seen in a 2 cusp pattern, whereas the Y pattern is seen in case of a 3 cusp pattern. So now we'll see in detail about the 3 cusp pattern as well as the 2 cusp pattern. The geometrical outline of the 3 cusp pattern is squarish with minimal lingual convergence is seen. The 3 cusp pattern have a 1 buccal cusp and a 2 lingual cusp. A Y-shaped developmental groove separating the 3 cusps. In some teeth, the lingual aspect is wider comparing to the buccal aspect. Now we'll see the occlusal surface. Occlusal surface includes the anatomical landmarks such as cusp, ridge, grooves and fossa. First we'll see about the cusp. In 3 cusp pattern, there will be a single cusp that is present in the buccal aspect, whereas the 2 cusp that is present in the lingual aspect. The cusp that is present in the lingual aspect can be named as mesiolingual cusp and the distolingual cusp. That is, the cusp that is nearer to the mesial side can be called as mesiolingual cusp, whereas the cusp that is nearer to the distal side can be called as distolingual cusp. A single cusp that is present in the buccal aspect is called as a buccal cusp. Comparing to the 3 cusp, buccal cusp is the largest cusp. So comparing to the lingual cusp, that is the mesiolingual and the distolingual cusp, the mesiolingual cusp is larger comparing to the distolingual cusp. Now we'll see the ridges. All the 3 cusps have a well-developed triangular ridge. I have made 3 triangular markings, markings over a buccal cusp, a marking over a mesiolingual cusp and a marking over the distolingual cusp. So this is how a triangular ridge is formed in the mandibular second premolar. Then we will be seeing an mesial marginal ridge and the distal marginal ridge. So the blue color arrow indicates the mesial marginal ridge, whereas the green color arrow indicates the distal marginal ridge. The distal marginal ridge is slightly concave and cervically located, whereas the mesial marginal ridge is straight and is occlusally placed. Now we'll see the fossas present in the mandibular second premolar. There are 3 fossas that are seen in the mandibular second premolar, that is a central fossa, a mesial triangular fossa and a distal triangular fossa. A central fossa which is located at the center of the occlusal surface and slightly distal to the center in a mesial distal direction and at the center in a buccolingual direction. The central fossa has been harbored by a central pit. So the arrow indicates the central pit. So you'll see 2 triangular fossa. The one in the mesial side just before the mesial marginal ridge is the mesial triangular fossa, and one that is present in the distal is the distal triangular fossa. So I have made a triangular markings for the triangular fossa. Now we'll see the grooves that is present in the occlusal surface of mandibular second premolar. There are 3 developmental grooves and a few supplementary grooves that are present in the mandibular second premolar. The 3 developmental grooves are mesial developmental groove, distal developmental groove and a lingual groove. The mesial developmental groove I have marked using a green color arrow. So it starts from the central pit and runs in the mesial direction to end in the mesial triangular fossa. The blue color arrow indicates the distal developmental groove. It extends from the central pit to the distal triangular fossa, whereas the yellow color arrow indicates the lingual groove. It extends from the central pit and it extends and travels between the two cusps, that is a mesiolingual cusp and distolingual cusp, and extends till the lingual surface. All the three developmental grooves converge at the central pit, giving a Y-shaped appearance. Other than this, there are few supplementary grooves that are present over the surface of the crown. The occlusal aspect has a round shape with more lingual convergence in the two cusp type of an mandibular second premolar. The mesiolingual and the distolingual line angles are rounded. The marginal ridges forms the boundaries of the occlusal surface. The developmental groove present over the occlusal surface will be divided into an U-shaped groove pattern and an H-shaped groove pattern. If the buccal cusp is larger than the lingual cusp, then it is an U-shaped groove pattern that you can see in the left side picture. If the buccal cusp as well as the lingual cusp is almost equal in size, then an H-shaped groove pattern is formed. So you can see in the right side picture. Only two cusps are seen, that is one buccal cusp and the one lingual cusp. Both the buccal as well as the lingual cusp are well developed. The lingual cusp is located directly opposite to the buccal cusp and the triangular ridge of both the cusps to form a transverse ridge. I have made a marking in the left side picture that shows you the triangular ridge. That is, one triangular ridge is present over the buccal cusp and one triangular ridge that is present over the lingual cusp. Both the triangular ridge join together to form a transverse ridge. So in case of a three cusp pattern, in three cusp pattern you will be seeing a three triangular ridge and there won't be any transverse ridge. So whereas in case of a two cusp pattern, you are seeing two triangular ridge and a transverse ridge. The mesial and the distal fossa are seen inner to the marginal ridges, which are roughly circular in nature. So I have made the mesial and the distal fossa in the right side picture, which are circular in nature. A central groove extends from the mesial to the distal fossa and few supplementary grooves are present over the fossa. So far we have seen in detail about the mandibular second premolar. So we started off with the location where the mandibular second premolar is located. Then we have seen about the lobes of mandibular second premolar, that is 4 lobes is present in case of the 2 cusp pattern and 5 lobes is present in case of 3 cusp pattern. Then we move on to see the chronology and dimensions of mandibular second premolar. Then we started off with the buccal surface. So in buccal surface, a prominent buccal ridge and a cervical ridge is present. So the mesial and the distal to the buccal ridge, there is a groove is present. Like mandibular first premolar, even in mandibular second premolar, the mesial slope is smaller comparing to the distal slope. So the distal slope is larger. Then we have seen about the lingual surface. In lingual surface, in a 3 cusp pattern, we will be seeing 2 cusps, that is the mesiolingual cusp and the distolingual cusp. So between the mesiolingual and the distolingual, you will see a lingual groove. There is a single cusp pattern is also seen, that is only one cusp can be seen from the lingual aspect also. Then we move on to the mesial aspect. We have seen the mesial surfaces also. So the mesial surface is convex in nature and the mesial marginal ridge is straight and it is occlusally present. Whereas in case of distal aspect, the distal marginal ridges are quite cervically present. From the distal aspect, we can able to see both the lingual cusp, that is the mesiolingual as well as the distolingual cusp can be seen. Then we move on to see the occlusal surface. So in occlusal surface, we have seen how many cusps are present and what are all the names of the cusp. That is in 3 cusp pattern, there is 1 buccal cusp and 2 lingual cusp. That is buccal cusp, mesiolingual cusp and the distolingual cusp. Then in 2 cusp pattern, there is a buccal and a lingual cusp. And there are 3 triangular ridge that is present in case of 3 cusp pattern, whereas 2 triangular ridge is present in case of a 2 cusp pattern. There is a transverse ridge that is present in case of a 2 cusp pattern. There is no transverse ridge is present in case of a three cusp pattern. A central pit is present in case of a three cusp pattern and no central pit in case of a two cusp pattern. I hope you understood the mandibular second premolar. Now we'll see the differences. Now we'll see the difference between mandibular first premolar and the mandibular second premolar. From the buccal aspect, the crown of mandibular first premolar is longer than the mandibular second premolar. Buccal cusp is sharp in case of mandibular first premolar, whereas in case of mandibular second premolar, the buccal cusp is less pointed. More prominent buccal ridge is seen in case of mandibular first premolar, whereas a less prominent buccal ridge is seen in case of a mandibular second premolar. The cervical convergence is more with relatively narrow cervix is seen in case of a mandibular first premolar, whereas the cervical convergence is less with and relatively a broader cervix is seen in case of a mandibular second premolar. From the lingual aspect, mandibular first premolar have a small lingual cusp and which is a non-functional type of cusp. A well-developed lingual cusp is seen in case of a mandibular second premolar with the possibility of two lingual cusps is seen. Most of the occlusal anatomy is visible from the lingual aspect of mandibular first premolar due to the presence of small lingual cusp. A little occlusal anatomy is seen from the mandibular second premolar. You can see a mesiolingual developmental groove in case of a mandibular first premolar from the lingual aspect, whereas in case of mandibular second premolar from the lingual aspect you can see a lingual groove in a three cusp pattern and there is no grooves that is present in case of a two cusp pattern. A more lingual inclination is seen in case of a mandibular first premolar and less lingual inclination is seen in case of a mandibular second premolar. From the occlusal aspect, the occlusal outline is diamond shape in case of a mandibular first premolar, whereas in case of mandibular second premolar, it is square shape in three cusp pattern and a round shape in a two cusp pattern. A shallow central groove is seen in case of a mandibular first premolar. A H-shaped, a U-shaped or a Y-shaped central groove is seen in case of a mandibular second premolar. No central pit is seen in a mandibular first premolar. Central pit is seen in case of a mandibular second premolar. Comparing the mesial marginal ridge between mandibular first and mandibular second premolar. In mandibular first premolar, the mesial marginal ridge is sloping, whereas in case of mandibular second premolar, the mesial marginal ridge is straight. The mesial marginal ridge is cervically placed in case of a mandibular first premolar, whereas in a mandibular second premolar it is occlusally placed. When we compare the pulp horns between a mandibular first and a mandibular second premolar, mandibular first premolar has a single root with two pulp horns, whereas in case of mandibular second premolar, it is also having a single root but it has a three pulp horns. Now we'll see the difference between the maxillary premolars and the mandibular premolars. Maxillary premolars are wider buccolingually than mesiodistally. Mandibular premolars have a equal buccolingual and a mesiodistal dimension. Both maxillary first premolar as well as the maxillary second premolar look similar. Whereas in case of mandibular first and mandibular second premolar, they do not resemble each other. If you see proximally, maxillary premolars are trapezoidal in shape, whereas in case of mandibular premolars, they are rhomboidal in shape. Both the cusp in maxillary premolars are major type of cusp. In case of mandibular premolars, that too, the mandibular first premolar, they have a non-functional type of cusp. I think you are clear with the difference of the mandibular first and then mandibular second premolar, as well as the difference between the maxillary and the mandibular premolars. So last class I have told about a few points regarding the apical foramen. So one of your batchmates want to know more about apical foramen. So I will explain more points regarding the apical foramen. So apical foramen, it is the opening at the apex of the root of a tooth through which the nerve and blood vessels supplies the dental pulp. It represents the junction of the pulp and periodontal tissue. The average size of the orifice is 0.3 to 0.4 mm in diameter. There can be two or more foramina separated by a portion of dentin and cementum, or by cementum only. If more than one foramina is present on each root, the largest foramina can be designated as the apical foramen, whereas the remaining foramina are considered as an accessory foramen. Apical delta refers to the branching pattern of small accessory canal and minor foramina seen at the tip or apex of some tooth root. The apical delta can be complicate the endodontic problem. In endodontics, it is necessary to thoroughly debride the pulp space to remove all the necrotic tissue and minimize bacterial load in the pulp space. Initially, this debridement would terminate exactly at the apical foramen. In reality, the determining the exact position of apical foramen is problematic. To overcome this problem, we require a radiographic technique and an apex locator. In an immature teeth, the root is not fully formed, leading to an open apex. This is also seen in a pathological teeth. So these are all the few points regarding apical foramen. Even if you want more about apical foramen, I will explain in the other class. I guess you would have understand my class today. That is the mandibular second premolar and the difference between the premolars. Mandibular second premolar is often asked essay as well as 5-mark question. That too, the occlusal aspect of mandibular second premolar is most frequently asked 5-mark question. You can check your question bank also. And the difference between the premolars is also an important 5-mark question. So try to read both the question by today. Two more things you have to do, that is write an assignment on mandibular second premolar in your observation note with the diagrams. Second thing, try to carve mandibular second premolar. So the carving steps are similar to that of your maxillary first premolar, just there is few differences. Find out those difference and try to do the carving. Okay, so if you have any doubts in today's class, you can ask me. Thank you. Have a great day.